Hello and welcome to Slow Pit Stop, the international Formula One podcast by fans for fans all around the world. My name is Arafat, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Mohammed. Say hi, Mohammed.
Hi, Mohammed.
Mohammed, one of us, one of us.
Yeah, one of us. I'm so excited for this.
One of us.
Finally,
We have previously been cancelled for stating our opinions on the podcast.
Yeah.
And come after by a bunch of people. And so all I'm going to do right now is read out facts. I'm not going to give a personal opinion on anything. And the factual thing is, all I'm going to say is, this is what Max Verstappen said. Right? I was quite surprised when sitting there in the steward's room what was all going on. Honestly, very disappointing, because I think we're all here. We respect each other a lot. And of course, I've been in that meeting room many times in my life, in my career with people that I've raced. And I've never seen someone try to screw someone over that hard. And that, for me, I lost all respect. He always acts extremely polite in front of the cameras, but if you sit together with him personally, he's a completely different person. I truly can't stand that. Then you might as well get lost. I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a bad time to be George Russell.
He's a snake. We've all known he's a snake. This is not news to us.
Yeah, it's just, and then what I find more funny is Verstappen has said this. Verstappen, interview-wise, is actually quite funny now because he just says it like it is. And he's come after George Russell, and we all, obviously, nobody likes George Russell. But do you know what? There's a bit of me that was like, we're just going to spend the whole podcast making fun of George Russell. And part of me deep down inside was like, oh, but what about his mental health? What if he's really sad? All of this stuff. What if he's having a really hard time? And then I remembered he's a millionaire living in Monaco. And I was like, he'll be fine.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, on Twitter, it's kind of interesting. There's a split between Lewis Hamilton fans who, because we're having an identity crisis now. Do we really align ourselves with Max Verstappen, our arch nemesis, and say that he's right and Russell is a crazy person? Or do we take George Russell's side? So I've seen some people on Twitter, actually, some Lewis Hamilton fans, actually take George Russell's side in the whole thing and say that he had a point and the rules should be enforced fairly and Verstappen deserved the odd one grid penalty job.
No. Here's my point. For anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, we're reviewing the Qatar Grand Prix. Qatar, however you want to pronounce it.
Qatar.
But I can't even remember when it was. It was qualifying.
Qualifying, yeah.
Max was not on a hot lap. George Russell was warming up and sped up right behind Max Verstappen and then argued. Verstappen blocked him, forced him onto the gravel, messed up his preparation, and that way he didn't get to set a perfect lap. And he argued that, but it's like, if you block someone while doing a hot lap, sometimes it's very difficult in narrow places, Monaco, whatever. But I don't have a problem with that. Someone's doing their hot lap, you've blocked them, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But Russell wasn't even on a hot lap. Yeah. There's so many things. Remember that race in Monza in Italy? Yeah. When all the drivers were going around super slow because nobody wanted to be the first car because they all knew they'd get a slipstream from someone else.
Yeah.
And they were all so slow that in the end, 2 people got through and got to set a lap. Everyone else was missed the flag. And it's imagine they all just penalized each other because they were I got blocked by that guy.
It's basically he argued it's the principle of the matter. You shouldn't be driving slow and blocking people regardless of the result, is what he argued. But it's just the greatest nitpick in the history of nitpicks. It's they had to make up a penalty. There's no such thing as a one place grid drop. It would have been 3 places if it were an actual hot lap, but because it wasn't, they had to come up with this. George Russell
come up with a new punishment.
Exactly.
George Russell was the kid at school that got the teacher to create new punishments for you. Imagine being George Russell's sibling.
I was gonna say, who George Russell is? He is somebody who you work with, you work alongside them, and then they get promoted to maybe a manager position or something. They get the promotion.
He's Dwight.
Yeah, and then they just become terrible in their role. You know what I mean? They're just they're oh, you're 20 minutes late today. Oh, you're this. Oh, they're just so. And then you're wow, I thought we were friends. When we hang out outside of work, You're so
Yeah.
nice. You're like chatting, you're joking, you text, you're in the group chat, you're so funny. But then when it comes to, it's like the smallest things that you're getting angry at me about. And that's exactly what he's doing. And I can understand Verstappen's frustration. And like you said, it's like he doesn't have a filter anymore. He just says whatever he wants to say or doesn't want to say. And that's basically what happened here. And Alonso agreed with it because Alonso sniffs blood in the water and he can attack anybody he wants to. And he was like, yeah, I'm just going to drive up to people and then slam on the brakes and be like, yeah, give them a 1-point squid drop.
Gave the penalty.
So, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I'm loving it. And what I love is that, like, Ted Kravitz was like, there was more to this. You'll see it on Drive to Survive. And the way the media interviews happened, people interviewed Max after George. So George never responded. So now all this stuff is festering on the internet. And as soon as we get to Dubai, everyone's going to be like, George, Max doesn't like you. He says you're awful. Would you like to comment? And he'll be like, I'm just here to race. I want to race fairly.
Yeah, oh my God.
Just
I
follow
hate
the
that
rules.
Smugness so much. I'm going to get canceled a second time, but that's okay. Because this time, I have Max Verstappen on my side. 4-time champion.
So, for anyone that hates Max Verstappen, remember, I've said this for quite a few years. I hate anyone that's in competition with Lewis at that moment in time. I hated Vettel. I hated Rosberg. Like, anything that we feel for Verstappen, it would have been a billion times for Rosberg.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the way Rosberg... Anyway. But now, I find Rosberg quite funny. I think he's just a bit of a troll, and I quite enjoy when he's on the TV. And I think this unhinged version of Max Verstappen, I'm enjoying as well. I would still like Lewis to beat him and things, obviously. But it's just like, our enemy's enemy is our friend. Yeah, and annoying George has...
Yeah. You know how you say that, you hate anybody who's in competition with Lewis Hamilton? That's why I currently hate Mercedes. Because they're the greatest enemy to Lewis Hamilton is Mercedes.
Threat. Yeah. 100%. Speaking of threats and enemies, did you see the FIA is changing some of its rules?
No, but I can't imagine what it's about. I do know that the teams... Well, I'll let you tell me what the rule... I know what the rule is, but you say it so I can give you my commentary and my analysis.
So, big MBS is in a lot of trouble.
Big MBS.
Because... Or little MBS. Big MBS is king of Saudi. Little MBS of the FIA. He's in trouble because he's just going crazy and firing everyone. People that have been part of the FIA for decades are just being fired left, right, and centre. We'll probably do like an end-of-year roundup of the number of people that have left the FIA. Stewards are being fired. Anyone that doesn't capitulate to him. And the thing about the FIA president is it's only for very rich people because by the French charter, whatever, it's an unpaid position. It's like a non-profit. So only people that are very rich.
Unpaid position?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
By this weird French loophole. Now, they tried to move it to Switzerland and be like, we're going to have money, we're going to whatever. And France were like, yes, you can leave. But if you leave, you have to pay this tax bill. And the tax bill, I don't know what it was, but it was it was such an astronomical amount of money that the FIA was like, actually, we'll just stay here. It's better to make us no money than pay that bill.
Yeah.
Was their position. So there's a fund that's supposed to be used for, because who votes for the FIA president stuff is all the different racing organizations in the world that are affiliated. So some of them are big organizations like Silverstone, the British racing, whatever. And some of them are really small, little nowhere organizations. But they all have an equal vote. It's not to do with size or impact or whatever. They all have an equal vote. And there's a fund that's supposed to use to support, grassroots motorsport, etc. MBS is very good at diverting those funds to anybody that voted for him and diverting them away from anyone that didn't vote for him to be FIA president. And historically, that's called corruption. But now, thanks to this new rule, he can no longer be investigated for financial crimes or something. A set of revisions to the statutes governing the Audit and Ethics Committee have been circulated to member clubs to be approved at the vote on the 13th of December. This would ensure that any ethics complaint were overseen by the FIA president himself, rather than the Senate. So if anybody has a complaint about MBS and his ethics issues, it goes directly to him, and he decides if he's innocent or guilty. It's a good system.
So here's the thing. There is a brewing civil war between the drivers and MBS because they put this statement out, right, a few weeks ago, and they were like, we hate the way that stewarding is going and we want it to be better. The FIA and Mohammed bin Sulayem just literally never responded to it, and the frustration has been building with every single race.
No, he did. This week he said something like, drivers should just shut up and drive or whatever.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. And then, like, on top of that, he's now changing the rules so he can't be investigated. And it's like, that was literally not the rule change we were looking for. We were looking for a different era of rule change, but he's basically consolidated power. And it's like, this guy just got elected president like 2 or 3 years ago. It's like not like he's been in this role forever. And I don't know like how we're gonna get rid of, I don't know how people are gonna get rid of him, but I do know the frustration with him is so high. You know, it's like when you root for your football team or soccer team, I guess, for people outside of America, and like everything is rotten in the administration, and the only way to change it is to change the owner. And you're like, how the heck am I gonna convince the owner to sell the team? Like, how can us plebeians convince a millionaire to leave a team? This is what it's like with MBS. It's like, how can us plebeians convince this millionaire guy to let go of his precious FIA Formula One trophy and just walk away from it? Like, we can't.
I don't know why he does the things he does. Like, what's the motivation? Like, you look at politicians or whatever, right? They do stuff, and some of it's popular, some of it's unpopular, and you can be like, okay, I can see they compromised there because they wanted to push this thing through. Whereas everything happening in the FIA makes no sense to me.
Basically, you know what they need is they need one experienced person running the whole thing, and they can't find that experienced person, and they need more transparency. So that's part of the issue is they keep firing these race directors. They can't get somebody who's like a what is it? Not a technocrat, a meritocrat or whatever. Like somebody who's just good at their job and is in charge and is no politics and nothing else can affect them. With MBS there right now, everything just feels like it's for show, and it just feels like he's just doing
It's
things
super
for his own
sleazy.
reputation. Yeah, exactly, very sleazy, which is the F1. That is how F1 goes. F1 is a sleazy sport, but it's annoying for us to watch. But it must be even more frustrating for the drivers. Imagine going to work and not knowing what the rules are going to be every day. Like, you know, one day it's
So my
okay to
life
do
is
this,
like
the
now
other
anyway.
day it's not okay. Is your life like that? Is the FIA the NHS? Amazing.
Speaking of people having a fun time at their job, Esteban Ocon.
Brutal. Why have they done this? Why have they announced that he's not going to finish out the season? Did you see the statement he put out? It's heartbreaking.
Yeah. So I tried to probe at someone connected to the team. I was like, tell me.
So funny.
And obviously they like can't tell me anything. And all they said was the BBC article is pretty good.
Ooh.
Right? So I read the BBC article. It was all about how after Monaco, the team fell out with Esteban. They don't like him. Flavio Briatore.
Well, I didn't watch Monaco. What happened? He crashed into Gasly?
So basically, a few races ago, you know all this chat about Colapinto going to Alpine. What they wanted to do was get rid of Ocon, put Doohan in the seat. Yeah, Doohan in the seat, and then let Doohan race to the end of the season and go, who's better here, Colapinto or Doohan? And then put that person into the seat for 2025. But Colapinto's been so crashy recently that Red Bull are like, now we're okay. And Alpine have also been like, now we're okay. But yeah, so the idea of Ocon leaving came from a while ago. And he's not happy there. And it's just...
But why with one race left? If that's what you guys were planning, then have something set up for him to go 2 or 3 races before. Like a pseudo Daniel Ricciardo. Even that was a pretty sleazy move. For something like that, you know?
It's really weird, all these drivers just getting dumped so unceremoniously.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like one race before the end is really weird. Like for Doohan, and there's all these articles on like the race.com and stuff. It's like, you know, Doohan's seat not even secure. He's not even started yet. And I'm like, I can't think of any rookie ever that has ever started. And people are like, he might not even get to a race before he's even started.
Wait, he's not signed yet? He's just like a name?
Well, no, he is, but everyone's like, you know, there's performance clauses and this and that, and they have the right to just bin him.
Is he not that good? I haven't followed his junior career.
Well, no, this is the thing. It's really weird. Like the way they're just... I suspect their first choices were Alonso and Piastri.
Nah, they fumbled Alonso. He was their driver. They fumbled him.
But so Briatore is Alonso's manager.
Oh, really? Wow. What the heck? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Briatore and Alonso are very close.
Oh, wow.
And the other person who's managed by Briatore was Mark Webber, who is Piastri's manager.
Mm,
So that was how.
yeah,
That was
Piastri got in.
why Alonso extracted Piastri,
Mm,
because he was like, guys, look, this is going the wrong direction.
mm,
We should do this, 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 this.
mm,
And the announcements happened the way they did was because Alonso tipped off Webber,
mm-hmm,
who then got Piastri out and into McLaren.
mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Makes sense when you look back at it, especially when we know that McLaren did have an upward trajectory planned, and Mark Webber said that he looked at McLaren and it looked like they were going to. So it makes sense when you look backwards. But let me tell you this. Ever since Alpine changed their name from Renault, it's been a complete and utter collapse on all fronts. Their engine department, their driver department, their team principal, their owner. Like, literally anything you think about has been a just complete collapse on their front. I've never seen such an implosion of a team in before. I don't know. In Formula One, can you remember another massive implosion such as that where a team just completely? I mean, I guess Mercedes. I don't know.
I guess like when I started watching, there were teams that would come and go, like completely just go bankrupt and leave. And they wouldn't make it to the end of the season. They start doing fundraisers to get to the end of the season.
Wow.
All that
Go
kind of stuff.
me.
Yeah, exactly. But the weird thing about Alpine is, like you said, it's got so many parts to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole, like, if you just leave Team Enstone alone, you know, the Enstone factory racing team, I think they're very, very good.
Mm.
I don't know what's happening with the engine department. I don't know what's happening with Renault management in France. But I feel like if that Team Enstone, because you know there's rumors, they're going to be bought or whatever. If they were bought by someone else, actually, I think they might thrive because they're going to have Mercedes customer engines. If they became something else, it might give them the opportunity to just shake off the whole thing, have a refresh, and the people that are there that are very good at their jobs, allow them to like achieve their potential.
You know, what was I going to say? We were kind of seeing the opposite with Williams because they got bought by Doralton Capital, and then they kind of changed although their driver situation is quite odd. But if you look at their trajectory, it does look like it's going upwards. Maybe the solution is new owners. But I was confused because I thought Patrick Mahomes and like that whole conglomerate and Travis Kelce and I don't even know who else is in
But they're
there.
minority holders. Like Renault is still calling the shots.
Oh, okay. So what is the point? They just make money if the team makes money?
Yeah.
I think Lewis Hamilton should have invested in Alpine. I think that would have been really funny. Can you imagine if he became a minority owner of Alpine?
Plus 44 Racing. If Lewis had become an owner Alpine when Alonso was still driving for them, that would have been the best.
So funny. It actually would have been quite funny. And he's gonna sponsor the Ferrari car with his Almave
through his Almave brand.
Yeah. It's gonna be so good. I'm so excited I'm so ready for Ferrari, bro. I'm so done with this. I'm as done as Lewis Hamilton is. Although he is truly a lesson in perseverance, because what was that whole weekend for him? It was just like absolute slugfest. And then right at the end, when he is fighting for that P13, P12, and I'm just like, that shows you what kind of determination he has. Like, he's not even going to get a point. I know you like talking about Korea or whatever, 2011, when he fought for one single point. He didn't even fight for a point. He just fought for the sake of it. And just incredible to watch. What a car. It's funny, in the after race interview, he was like, right now, me and the car don't get along. It's like every race, it feels like he's fighting the car. We have to talk about this race, man. It felt like it was so boring, and then so many things just happened, and I don't know if it made it exciting or if it just gave me a headache. Like, it's too many things just happened.
So, I was at work. My first experience of this race was just on the radio, right? So, I had to watch it later. And I was dipping in and out of the radio in between seeing patients. And I came and I heard someone go, a mirror's fallen off a car. I wonder if they'll have to pick that up.
Yeah.
And I remember just hearing that. And then later on, I came back a while later and like, you were going insane on WhatsApp. My sister was going insane. The internet was going insane. And I was like, what did this mirror do? What's happening? So it turns out it fell off Albon's car. Someone went over it. Was it Bottas?
somebody, maybe
Yeah, it
Tsunoda.
shattered into a million pieces, and then like Lewis got a puncture. The racing line had like carbon fiber. Yeah, Sainz people are like questioning because he went around, did a whole lap, but then as he came around the last corner, had a puncture. Pirelli's still investigating, trying to work out what's going on. But all the teams didn't have that much thermal degradation that they think, you know, they were extreme on the tires, apart from Mercedes. Mercedes had a bad time with the tires anyway, which is what probably made Lewis more vulnerable. But yeah, so it looks like there was carbon fiber, and people were like, why didn't they put out a safety car to clear up that mirror in the first place? And then the FIA, like loads of people were like, why are they doing this? Bad stewarding, this, that. And there's a feeling that because this is all like MBS's decisions, people cannot say we made a mistake, because MBS is like, I've made everything bigger and better. So people then can't turn around and go, we made a mistake. Because people do make mistakes. And I think if they just came out and went, we made a mistake, we should have done this, we've learned, everyone else would go, okay, fine. You know, people aren't looking for someone to blame and like lynch and fire and whatever else. But instead, the thing that's coming from the top down is deny, deny, deny. Actually, what we did was the best decision ever. All of you were wrong. I mean, we didn't put out a virtual safety car because all the cars would have had the same gap and we wouldn't be able to put a marshal out safely to get the mirror. Do you not care about the marshals? Do you not care about safety? Everyone's like, but you left it there, like just off the racing line.
Yeah, you know, the way you like just came in and saw, or you saw the mirror, then you came back and saw the effects of the mirror. I was the opposite because I had to step away. And when I came back, everybody was like, so what are we going to do about that mirror on the track? And I was like, how is there a mirror on the track? And then Karun Chandak was like, somebody's going to run over that and get a puncture. We really should move that mirror. And I was like, what are they talking about? And then, like, as he's saying that, they're like, oh, Lewis Hamilton has a puncture. And I was like, of all the drivers to go over this mysterious mirror that showed up, it had to be Lewis Hamilton. And I thought it was funny that, Verstappen was like, I don't even blame the Williams mechanics. They have to put that car together so many times. He probably just forgot to secure the mirror. I don't even blame. And then Yuki Tsunoda is like, they're like, so did you watch out for the mirror? And he's like, mirror? I thought you said beaver. Like, beaver? Why would there be a beaver in the middle of the desert in the Middle East? I don't know. I thought with global warming, strange things are popping up in strange places. This is just such an unhinged weekend. This is like, you can make a whole SNL
Yuki's
skit.
so good.
I thought you said beaver. Did you run over the mirror? No, I didn't run over the beaver. Oh my goodness, man. What? And then, can we talk about Norris and his 10-second stop and go, which you asked for? You asked for the 10-second stop and goes that have to be served within 3 laps, and then our secondary enemy.
So there was double waved yellows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he didn't slow enough. And some people are like, it was harsh, that penalty, because circumstances, blah, blah, blah. But actually my feeling is, no, we should be punishing double waved yellows severely because, like, you know, when Bianchi died, there were double waved yellows and there was like a tractor on the thing. And kids that are go-karting don't respect yellow flags. You see so many videos online. Yellow flags, kids race around the corner, smash into someone, break someone's leg or whatever. Because the Formula 1 drivers, when a yellow flag happens, they push it as much as they can. So I'm actually in favour of punishing double waved yellows not being followed properly.
As you know, I'm a certified professional hater, so I'm in favor of any penalty Lando Norris gets. So if he's going to get a 10-second stop and go, I'm totally in favor of that. I think the fact that it happened after a safety car and it dropped it. So I was so stupid. I was looking at the timing sheets and I was like, all right, 2 plus 5, 2.5 plus 3.5 plus 4.1 plus this. Okay, he's going to drop down to P6. Excellent. And then I didn't realize that it's like all the cars are still bunched together. So he comes out in last place. And I was like, ha 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 ha, this is amazing. And then Lewis gets like a 10-second drive-through penalty. And I'm like, man, like my evil energy bounces off to the drivers I love the most. But his was a little bit more like straightforward. He knew what he did. He even said it on the radio. Sorry guys about that. And just a bad weekend for him. But great for him to come back from that. And yeah, I agree. I think Norris should have gotten the penalty. I don't know why people were so upset about it. Yeah, I know we haven't seen them in a while, but it's good that we should penalize the drivers who are.
Someone said it was like the third one that's happened in like 10 years or something.
Yeah, I believe it. I don't even remember the last time I saw it. It's just like how earlier
No.
in this season we had an actual black flag given to a driver,
Yeah.
Nico Hülkenberg. Like, when was the last time we ever saw that?
No,
Like,
I
that's
can't
been so
remember.
long. This has been a crazy season. We've had multiple drivers win. We've had first-time wins. We've had just insane things happen. Verstappen still won the championship somehow. I don't know what I'm expecting for next year. Actually, I do know what I'm expecting for next year. It's an 8th championship for Lewis Hamilton. But I don't know. It's been a wild season. When we do our season review, it's going to be incredible.
Fun times.
Yeah.
We gonna call it a night and reconvene following Abu Dhabi?
That's what we'll do. You had a game for me, right? Or do we not have time for that?
Oh yeah, I have a quick question. I'm gonna run through the drivers that are
Okay.
there for 2025.
Okay.
And very, very quickly, quick fire.
Okay.
I want you to tell me,
Yeah.
yes or no, are they in their last contract or not?
Ooh.
Like, will they get a new contract with a new team or
Yes.
extended or whatever?
Okay. Yeah.
Jack Doohan,
No. He's not in his last
Gasly,
contract. Yeah.
yes. Alonso,
Yes. How is he
yes.
not
Stroll,
already gone?
yeah.
Yes.
Stroll,
Think forever,
yeah.
but yes.
Leclerc and Hamilton.
No. Hamilton, yes. Wait, you said Leclerc and Hamilton?
Oh yeah, Hamilton will be in his last contract.
Hamilton,
yes.
yes. Leclerc, no. Ocon, yes. He already
Behrman.
left. No.
I mean Ocon and Haas. Haas will be Ocon's last move.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Hulkenberg?
Yes.
Yeah, he's his last one, isn't it? Bortoletto.
Yes. He's not going to.
You think he's
not going to do that.
be
He's
in
going
his
to be
last?
one of those rookies that gets dropped.
He's going to be like Zhou, get a couple of years and go.
Yeah, Logan Sargent.
Lando and Oscar.
Yeah, I think they're going to stick with McLaren forever.
And Antonelli and Russell.
No to Antonelli, yes to Russell. I can see Antonelli switching to a different team, maybe Red Bull down the line.
I can see Russell being binned and going to Cadillac.
Ooh, I forgot we're going to have 2 more seats. Okay.
In my mind, Russell is going to Cadillac.
It would be so funny
Tsunoda?
if he loses his seat to Verstappen. Tsunoda, no,
Yeah.
he's going to go to Red Bull.
Verstappen, no, he'll be there for a while. Imagine Verstappen just retires at the end of this season.
I
Incredible.
could see Verstappen going to Mercedes in 26. I know everybody talks about that, but I could see that happening. So I would say no to Verstappen.
Well, Perez isn't even going to be there next year, let alone the
Technically,
year
he's still there, so I'm going to say yes. That's his last
He's in his last contract, yeah. Albon. So Albon and Sainz are, I think, the most precarious positions.
No, I think they're out.
Like, I think there are people who deserve another contract, but are at very high risk of just falling out of the sport.
Sainz is like a pseudo Daniel Ricciardo. I know that sounds crazy, but just in terms of the way his career has been, where he's just moved from team to team, trying to find the right fit where he can win a championship, and it hasn't happened. So I can see him getting to Williams, and then that being his like V-carb or whatever McLaren end of Dan, and then just going, and then who's the other one you said? Albon. Albon has clearly come back. He's done. He's gotten us for as far as he's gonna. He's not gonna get him at the top seed. This is it for him.
Fun times. Well, thank you everyone, and
that was
good
fun.
Night.
We'll see you after.
Well, good morning.
Abu Dhabi.
Depends on when you listen, I guess.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.